Hey, welcome to another episode of Everything NYC podcast, where we talk about business, careers, dating, politics, and tourism. Today, we're going to be speaking about personal training, how to start the business, how to advance in it, and what exactly to look out for.
And over here, Everything NYC podcast, we like to talk about careers. So today we're going to discuss different careers in fitness and how you can get into it. Let's go.
All right, to start things off, I'm joined by our guest here. So please give everyone your name, where you're from, what you do, and how long you've been doing it.
So my name is Erin. I currently reside in Bayside, Queens, and I work exclusively in Manhattan, Queens. Manhattan. And I'm a personal trainer, and I've been doing it for, I think this year comes up to about 2 years because I have to recertify. So, but I've been in fitness probably since I was 15, but really learned everything the past 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk us through the beginning of the journey. Why did you decide to enter into this field?
I originally entered into this field because I was working at an office job, like pre-pandemic, because I needed a job. And I was there, almost 12 hours a day doing something for someone else and being run ragged because, I'm a receptionist, I'm an office assistant, I'm doing everything for everyone else. And, I have to find time to go to the gym at like 4 a.m. And get my workout in and then go to work. So I was like, I really love the gym. I want to be in the gym for long periods of time instead of having to rush to go somewhere. And I really just fell into it, especially because of all the things that I've seen, which is, the usual girlfriend goes with her boyfriend. And I did it too. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I didn't do it. But, just seeing those things made me want to get into it because, like, most boyfriends really don't know how to teach their girlfriends.
Really?
Very really.
Oh, okay, so this is some new information.
So you were going with your boyfriend at the time?
I was going with my boyfriend at the time.
And you still go with him now?
No.
So where is he?
It's a relationship for a long time ago that it's ended.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned for that one, guys.
She'll be on a dating episode real soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We didn't know about this.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into it. Now continue. Go ahead.
And yeah, I went with him, and I was working at the gym before I went into the office, and I learned a lot from other personal trainers before I even became a personal trainer. And everyone was literally telling me, like, you should become a personal trainer. And I was like, no, I kind of want to go into this human resources side of everything because I like learning how to honestly bend the rules instead of actually sticking to them. And I went and got my associate's degree in human resources, but it just being in an office, I didn't want to be there all day.
It wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. Plus, you got type A personalities. Like, I remember one day I was just like, it was end of the workday. I was at the, the stamp machine. I was just randomly singing, and like how sometimes you hit that high note and you can't hold it in. So I did not hold it in. And I got yelled at by another coworker. And I was like, yeah, this isn't the job for me if I can't even a little bit express myself.
Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah.
Do you? So you said you were in like the workplace. In the workplace typically is counterproductive to fitness because they give out like bagels and food that like makes you gain weight. So did you go through any type of weight loss journey, anything like that in the beginning stages?
My weight loss journey actually happened quite some time ago because I used to be 190 pounds.
Oh, really? And how tall are you? How tall are you? I'm not too sure how tall you are. How tall?
5'2".
Okay,
Wait,
now I know.
190?
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
I
you're a baby.
You was a big girl.
Ooh, I was a big girl.
Yeah.
Like, I still, it's on all my pages. I have my prom photo from when I was 18, and I was
Plump.
big.
Wow. I never looking at you now, I never would have thought that.
And it's funny because you say plump because I was literally in like a plum color dress.
Oh my God. Everything just aligning so perfectly right now.
It does align
Everything's
so
aligning so
perfectly.
perfect.
But yeah, I came from that, and I did a lot of it on my own, and honestly, the worst way too, because I was in the gym for like 5 hours, like 2 hours of cardio, 3 hours of working out.
And that's like counterproductive.
Oh, that's super counterproductive, because I'd start with like an hour of cardio, do 3 hours of full body, and then another hour of cardio.
And you would see any changes, progression?
Oh, I saw changes. I actually lost like my first 45 pounds that way.
How long? How much months? Like 45?
I think it only took me about 4 months, because I was actually preparing to run a Spartan race with when I was working at the gym, with like all signed up to do a Spartan race. So that's really how I got into fitness, like fully. And I've done it like 1 or 2 at least every year, probably except this coming year.
Got it.
Okay. And the diet, like, what do you?
I was like cutting calories. I think breakfast was my largest meal. It was like 2 slices of toast, 2 slices of bacon, and 2 eggs. And then I would have like a shake after my workout that had like granola and whey protein with like water, which doesn't taste good when you do protein and water. But like you're trying to cut out the milk, and you're trying to cut out the sugar as much as possible. And then I would cut my sodium basically in half. So if I was like already doing like almost 3,000 in sodium, I cut it to about 1,500 milligrams.
It was a big difference.
It is a big difference. And that's how I lost like a lot of my weight, is the sodium. Because for me, that's what it really was. It doesn't work for everybody. It works for like a few select people, because I just want to say that just in case.
Yeah. Some people
like,
need to know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because one thing that works for me does not necessarily mean it'll work for someone else. True. Yeah.
Gotcha. So walk us through the beginning of the process. So did you join a commercial gym like the Crunch, Equinox, and then from there get your clients? Is that how it usually starts? Is that the way it started for you?
Yeah, for me, when I first applied, I was working at Blink.
Oh, at Blink, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Blink.
Oh yeah, everybody knows Blink.
What was it, like $25?
Like 10, I think it was 10 or 20. Yeah, and you could have like basically like 10 guests come in for free with you.
A whole gang.
I was like, it makes sense. Like that's how they get everybody in. But then it's also so crazy crowded too.
Packed up.
It's like packed all the time.
Gotta wait 10 minutes to get a set in.
Yeah. Not even 10 minutes. You're lucky if someone isn't there for like an hour.
Oh my God.
And I'm that type of person where I'm like, no, you can't work in with me on certain days. Yeah. On certain days.
Then they sweat up the whole machine.
Oh yeah, because some people will be on there like doing every single thing, and I'm like, you don't need to be on there for that. Like you don't need to use it for that long. Like go somewhere else and do something, and then you can come back.
I feel you.
But I started at Blink, and I was doing actually really well. And due to certain circumstances that happened, I unfortunately had to leave. And when I left, a lot of clients left with me, because every corporate gym will tell you, like, when you buy personal training, you're buying, personal training from that company. But what it really is you're buying personal training with that personal trainer. Because, yeah, you're not always going to connect with some personal trainers, but with me, I do everything to connect with every client. Because while it's, very physical, it's also very emotional and it's super mental.
Yes, it is.
And you also have to learn how to like really connect with your body as well. That's the other thing. That's what I always teach my clients. And the other thing too is it's preventative healthcare. Would I rather pay $800 a month to be with a personal trainer, or do I want to eventually spend thousands and thousands of dollars on medical expenses, on physical therapy, and then I have to pay for the personal trainer? Like,
a lot of people don't look at it like that.
Oh no, they don't look at it like that. They don't look at it
like the future. Yeah.
Oh no, they never look at it like that.
And walk us through how you were able to get those clients while you were at Blink.
So while I was at Blink, it was really a lot of cold calling. It's
really?
a lot of cold calling. Like, you think, oh, personal trainers just like really go up to people. I'm the type of person, I don't want to interrupt anybody's workout unless you're doing something very dangerous.
Wrong, yeah.
Because if I see something dangerous, I have to stop you. But I really try not to approach anybody in their workout when they're doing something. I might approach them like in between their rest set, you know, make a small conversation a few times, and then like maybe 3-4 encounters later, I'll talk about like, hey, can we do the personal training session? But it's really a lot of calling people, and they generally want you to call like during lunch and dinner. And usually you get a lot of people saying, oh no, I'm not interested, or hey, I'm about to eat right now. Can I give you a call back?
Okay, so that's how you were able to get clients. You basically have the list of...
Yeah, they send you the list of all the new members who sign up or people who've never done it before, and you're always reaching out to those people. I prefer text nowadays, A, because it just gives me a record of everything. So like if you have an injury and I can't remember it from the call, I have it in the text conversation. You know, if you say your commute is an hour and, you know, like you're running late, now I know I can stick somebody else in a slot, and then I can tell you to come half an hour later because I know from previous conversations it's an hour for you to get anywhere. But yeah, texting is just the easier way to go. Plus, it's a little bit nicer for you not to hear the word no, because like no one likes rejection. And when you have to hear like, no, I'm not interested, like 20 times on a phone call, like no one wants that. You're like,
that's the mental part.
Yeah, your confidence goes way, way down. So as in like text, it's like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad.
So like, I want to get like a step-by-step, like how you train. All right, let's say I'm somebody new. I'm not into fitness, never worked out a day in my life, but yeah, I got to lose this weight. I got to get him in. I got to lose this weight. So I'm coming to you, Erin. I'm like, Erin, listen, I'm trying to get him in. I got to lose this weight. You know, everything NYC podcast, like we help people, solutions. You know, we trying to put people together. So I come to you. I say, I need help. I got to lose this weight. How do you step by step take somebody from scratch, like never worked out before? And how many times have you been ghosted after they see how hard it is training with a trainer?
Okay, so I'm going to answer the second question first. Because I'll tell you, it's a lot. A lot of people go into what we call a complimentary session. And, you know, they really just go to it to get information that they didn't have prior. And so I've been ghosted probably 70%.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where's the Bible? All right, just continue. Sorry. Just caught me off guard.
And it's really just because, you know, as trainers, when we do that complimentary session, even though it's a little bit, you're given some knowledge that you didn't have before. So everybody, well, the 70%, take it and run with it. So, but then I've had people who we've done the session and they've ghosted me. And then maybe 3-4 months down the line, they come back because they were doing what I told them to do, but now they're not understanding how to progress in it. So I'll get ghosted a lot, but you know, sometimes they just have it in the back of their head. Maybe I'll go back to her situation. But the step-by-step process that I go through is, so we have a small, like, you know, nice little conversation before we go into the actual assessment. I basically like get to know, do you have any current or previous injuries? Are there any medications that I should be aware of that do anything to you while you're in physical activity? You know, what do you currently do for work? Because that's a big thing. Like, are they very active in work or are they very sedentary in work? Because that gives me a better idea of like what exercises I need to bring into play that they've never done before that will help them. And then it's just getting a feel for them in that small, like 10-minute conversation. Also, like where they are, like, do they feel they need a personal trainer? Because if you can get that early on in that conversation, sometimes you can turn it later in the assessment. So like, oh no, I never thought about personal training, but you hit me up, so I wanted to try it. I'm like, yeah, that's great. So now let's go into an assessment, which is I basically check your body weight squat, I check your back step lunge, and I check your push-up. Because that gives me an idea of everything that you can do and everything that you can't do.
Basics.
Yeah. Like a lot of people do the overhead squat. I'm like, some people don't even know how to do a regular body weight squat. Why would I have them do an overhead squat?
Get hurt.
Exactly. And then some people don't have the shoulder mobility to hold their hand over their head. That's the other issue.
Especially if it's their first time.
Especially if if it's their first time, especially if they've never done mobility before. Then the second part is going into a mobility drill. So I, have you do certain mobility drills to open the shoulders, open the hips, make sure that, you're getting strength also in your wrist and your ankles as well, because we don't always think about that either.
We don't.
They're stabilizer joints. So we need to make sure that, when you're doing any particular exercise, that they're going to be warmed up and we get the blood flowing. So this way you're not going into anything cold. Because if you go into anything cold, you're more likely to risk injury.
Get hurt,
Yeah.
That's true.
And then I'll run through a small full body workout. Depending on like the injuries or if they have mobility issues. One of my go-tos is always face pulls. Because
you said face pulls?
Face pulls.
What is that?
So it's where you take a tricep rope and you like pull it your hands to your ears. Yeah, it's not gonna hit you. It never hits you.
It's for the rear delts.
It's for the rear delts, but it's what people don't understand is it really opens up the shoulders too, and it helps with posture as well.
Yeah.
That's a lot of like what we don't think about exercise. We think about getting like big and strong and how much weight can I lift, but in a lot with my clients, it's also about getting the correct posture, because a majority of them are sitting like this.
Yeah.
And so we want to always sit like this. And we also want to be able to like correct it ourselves too. Because if you're always doing those face pulls, you're always going to eventually like self-correct yourself when you're sitting down, because like, oh yeah, I'm so used to slouching over.
Exactly.
And then eventually like that'll start to hurt, that slouching. So you're like, oh, I remember this now because I'm doing this all the time.
You're often used to it.
Yeah.
Like, muscle memory kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's a huge muscle memory.
I mean, in America, like typically they say, statistics say 69% of adults are obese. So you say they ghost you a lot. You ever just said, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm quitting. Like, I'm done. I'm gonna go be a hairdresser or something like that. Because I see you got the different colors going on and stuff like that. So I see you into like different things too.
Oh yeah.
So you ever say, I'm done. I'm tired of this. I'm gonna be a sanitation or something like that. Like,
I say that so many times, like a week. A week? A week.
Yeah, stress.
Because it's a very stressful job. That's what people don't understand about it either is, yes, I'm trying to sell you something, but everybody else is too. And, the other thing is, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, you good. Yeah, you good. We here for you. We on your side. You get it back. You get it back whenever you. Hairdresser, sanitation, what were you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Obese?
Obese people. Yeah. Like, I think about changing careers sometimes all the time because, you're also dealing with a lot of different personalities as well.
Yes.
Because I've probably only fired 3 clients.
Fired?
Yeah.
Like you were done with them?
Yeah.
What would make you fire? They come to you, what would make you want to fire them? They come to you?
Oh, attitude. Attitude is a huge thing. I know that I have an attitude and I always do everything to keep myself in check. But if you're going to constantly give me attitude when I'm trying to help you, I can't help you. If you're not open, if you're not even the slightly bit open to hearing someone, and especially a female trainer, tell you something, then I can't help you because I've spent a lot more energy than I should have. Like I've done a session where I was with a lady for 3 sessions and everybody was telling me that was way too long. Like you should have stopped at the second one. And I'm like, because you're trying to help them and they're like, oh, this is painful. I'm like, it's painful right now because we're doing the correct movement for you.
It's new to their body.
It's new to your body. And it hurts right now because your body's so unfamiliar with it. But if you're not willing to do it, then I really just can't help you. Because if you can't listen to me, and when I say listen, I don't mean like, oh, I'm a drill instructor and you have to listen to what I'm saying. If you can't be even a little bit open about being like, okay, well, if we're in a hip hinge and I'm just telling you to like retract your shoulder blades like in the slightest so you don't put pain into your lower back, then we're never going to be able to master the foundations. Because if you can't master the foundations, you can't move on to intermediate work and you can't move on to advanced work.
I mean, no progression.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're a trainer, you don't want to be a pushover, but you have to be stern with some of the people.
Yeah, you kind of have to be 50-50. And I'm probably more like 80-20.
Yeah,
so I'm a little bit more pushover.
I see. I see.
But it's just because like everybody looks at it like, yeah, everybody's a dollar sign. Yes, they're dollar signs, but at the end of the day, like I love training. If there was no money in training, I would still do it because I love training people. I love teaching people new things that they ever didn't even know was like possible. Because like it's still the same thing where tons and tons of women come to me and are like, I don't want to get bulky. I'm like, you won't get bulky. You'll be fine. Just do what I tell you to do. Then they're like, oh, but like 20 pounds is too heavy. I'm like, no, it's not. You're not going to get bulky from it. You're just going to get physically better.
And a lot of women say they don't want to do too much cardio because they don't want to lose their butt and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I hear that a lot. Like that doesn't make sense. You're going to get tighter. You're not going to lose it. You're not going to be a pancake. Like it doesn't work like that.
I actually hear more of them talk about they would so much rather be doing all the cardio than any of the weightlifting. Like I had one girl come to me and I think she did like almost 3 hours of cardio in one session. And it was like 5 different machines. And I was like, you need to stop that. I was like very blunt with it. I was like, you have to stop. I was like, you can do 3 days for like 30 to 45 minutes, but 3 hours on 5 different machines and you're doing that 5 times a week. I was like, you're going to see a slight improvement for like the littlest bit of time. And I'm like, when you go on like, let's say vacation and you enjoy yourself, it's just all going to come back. Versus if you do weight training and you go on vacation, you're just going to stay at like the maintenance level. Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah.
So you speaking about getting bulky, what are your thoughts on like steroids and stuff like that? And like, TRT and all these new products and stuff like that? 'Cause I'm pretty sure you see some of it in the gym.
I see a lot of it in the gym.
Yeah, if somebody's mentioned 500 pounds, it's like, that's not natural. Let's be serious.
I mean, some people are natural. Some people aren't.
Yeah. You never know.
I mean, sometimes you can't tell though. Because some people are like in the middle. Yeah. And then you hear like, oh yeah, I take steroids. I'm like, you take steroids?
Never would have thought.
Never would have thought. But I mean, I wouldn't do it. To each their own. Absolutely, to each their own. I mean, the other thing is like, I would never do it because it's a great like result that you can get in such a short period of time. But you also have to think about like the long-term effect it's going to have on your body. Like, yeah, you're going to gain all that muscle and be lean, but like when you come off of it, you lose all that muscle. You're not going to be as lean. And then what happens 30, 40, 50 years from now because you were so young doing it and they're telling you have to get on all these different like medications because you did so much in steroids when you were younger.
It ruins your body.
Yeah, it ruins your body. Like it's great if you want to do it, but like think about the long term too. Because everybody, even when they come into personal training, only ever thinks about the short term. Like it's, oh, I want to lose the 15 pounds or I want to gain the 20 pounds in muscle. I was like, yeah, that's great. But what about your future when you're like 70, 80, 90? Because I want you to be able to walk without a cane or a walker. Like that's my goal for you besides your short-term goal. Because I'm thinking about also the future, even when like I know 30, 40 years from now, we're not going to be personal training together, but you're still going to take everything that I give you and use it in the future. Yeah.
Just like, yeah, I mean, that's why you see a lot of like people that train in competitions, like Mr. Olympias, a lot of them pass away very early.
Oh, yeah.
Very early. A lot of them just drop.
Because of the abuse of steroids, because they're on these cycles and, they're also eating whatever they want. They want to say that they're dieting for their YouTube videos. They're doing it just in that day for their YouTube video, but they're also eating like crazy amounts of food too because it like burns so much. So like, let's say you're going and like having 10 hamburgers a day. Like that's a lot of fat in your system. That's a lot on your heart too, because we always want to be heart healthy. That's the other thing too. So like, that's why you want cardio. And they're not doing cardio.
No, they're just lifting.
They're just lifting and they're eating and they're doing like all these different steroids too, because it's not like you just take one. You can stack them as well. And that's another huge thing of like why they pass away as well. Because they're not doing one.
Multiple.
They're doing multiple. And they're doing multiple rounds of it. And sometimes they're not even doing like what the cycle says they should be doing. Sometimes they'll extend it for long periods of time. And then they're not giving their body a break from it either. Because it's like when you go to a medical professional and they prescribe you steroids because you have like when I had to take steroids the one time I did.
Uh-oh.
It's because I was sick and I had walking pneumonia.
You get a pass.
I got like 2 weeks of steroids and that was it.
Okay. That's different though.
That's different, yeah.
So for the men on steroids, that's the men. What do you feel about like a woman that might come up to you and she's got like a BBL or something like that? Like what's that about? Like I see a lot of that in the gym too.
Oh, I just saw that last night.
Hey, what is this about?
Oh
like,
my God. I don't know what's going on out here.
Right now? Like,
Again, it's they want the quick result instead of the hard work.
Yeah, there you go. But if you gain weight, then the BBL is like looks ridiculous. Then.
It does look ridiculous. I saw a really skinny girl last night and she had a BBL and then she had like really giant implants.
Jesus Christ.
You could tell like her face was done too.
Lips, everything.
Lips, nose, cheek fillers. I'm like, that is not a natural person. I was like, that's insane to have such body dysmorphia that you want to look like that in the short term. I mean, the other thing that people don't realize is when you get a surgery like that, you eventually do have to go back under because that stuff can't be in your body for long term. Because remember, it's a foreign thing in your body. So like at a certain point, your body's going to attack itself because something foreign is sitting in there.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you don't really need a trainer. You need a church, God, and a therapist probably. Because there's nothing you injecting. There's something up here that's wrong with you. There's something up there.
It's hugely mental. It's always mental. Because again, like people come to the gym and like, oh, I'm not losing those first 5 pounds. All right, I'm done with this. I'm going to go back to eating whatever. And there's nothing wrong with eating whatever. Just do it in moderation and you'll actually see a little bit of a...
There is something wrong with eating whatever. There is.
You do got to balance it. Look, you got to balance it up.
On everything NYC podcast, we're going to keep it real, keep it raw, and keep it unfiltered, okay? There is something wrong with eating whatever. Take care of your damn self. Don't just go out here just eating whatever, stuff in your face, because it's going to show and you're going to regret it, all right? Be careful of that. Don't, all right.
Well, you also don't want to like,
I mean,
you also don't want to say like regret it because like people have this thing too, like, oh, I ate like a burger last night, so I feel guilty. Like you also don't want them to feel guilty about like eating something good. Well, I say eat in moderation because like when I was a power lifter, I was literally eating all the food that I wanted.
Yeah.
I was like having seafood boils every week. I was like having mac and cheese, like burgers. I was eating whatever I wanted. But because I was lifting so heavy, it burned it. So I was like staying more at a maintenance. So you can eat what you want.
The average person. The average person you see walking down the street is not powerlifting. Okay,
I know.
So they're barely walking.
Yeah,
they're barely walking.
Yeah, they're barely walking.
To be honest with
you. The idea of just eat whatever you want. It's
eat whatever you want in moderation, and then add in the greens. That's the other thing too. Is like you can still have the fries, but like add in a salad before you do the burger and fries, and then this way you won't eat like the full burger or the full fries.
Nah, they're just gonna eat the burger.
Yeah, because some people,
they're just gonna eat the burger and the fries.
Some people's salad look like a turkey dinner. Like they put bacon, they put rice, they put chicken, they put all the sauce with the calories.
Salad.
You can't. It's hard to tell these people that.
Most people not gonna eat it.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell anybody anything to do. That's the other thing is because most people like you're trying to give them guidance and they're just like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want at the end of the day because they're going to have more control over themselves than you telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Like my whole role is basically planting a seed and like we talk about it little by little and then it grows. And then they're like, oh, the thing that we first talked about that I wasn't willing to do, I'm very much willing to do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to give a recap, you started off at Blink, just cold called. You was able to obtain your leads and you qualified your leads. You were able to work out with a large number of people. And then you mentioned that you developed these relationships and then I guess took some of these clients on your own. So could you talk a little bit about that? How were you able to do that? Because I know that's the difficult part, right? Because they're coming into Blink, they're a member of Blink, and now they're officially your client.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
Oh, it's a huge difference. I mean, again, it was due to a situation where I had to leave. And like, if I hadn't had to leave, I really would have stayed at Blink while doing like a private business as well. Just because of that stability of income. That's the other thing with it, is because when you take people private, like I have clients that go away to Connecticut for 3 months of the year and I lose that income. Like, so for those 3 months, I don't have that income. And so I have to do other things until they're back. So it would great to be still at a corporation getting like a weekly paycheck in all the time. But when you're doing with like private clients, in order to take them out of the business, it's really because they want to stay with you. It's a thing of, you know, if they have that connection with you, when you leave, they're going to follow you. Like if I was to go to another Blink, they probably would have followed me too.
That's loyalty right there.
Yeah, it is loyalty because they want, you know, they have that familiarity with you.
So these became your clients. And which facility did you use when you transitioned?
I used an independent training facility. So it didn't have all the traditional machines that you see at like Blink or Crunch or like a New York sports club. It's literally more like functional training or almost like a CrossFit style.
Oh, that's
because they just have like squat racks that you can turn into for like a bench press, an open floor plan, a couple of cable machines, med balls, rowers, assault bikes, and like heavy dumbbells and kettlebells. The only other machines they really have are like a back extension machine and a lat pull down that can also be used for a seated row. So it's not too much. So you have to learn how to really be able to like, oh, if you want to do chest press, now I have to figure out how to do it on the cable machine, or we're using dumbbells type situation because I don't have the traditional strength training piece of equipment for a chest press where I can go like 5-10 pounds and you're seated on there using both handles to push. And so it's also a really great thing because it keeps me on my toes as a trainer. Like, oh, we can't do, what was the thing we couldn't do? We can't do like seated calf raises because they don't have a seated calf raise machine. So I have them hold weight on both sides with a cable machine and you do raises. And what that also helps with is instead of being stuck in the machine, you're also able to work on your core work and your balance work as well. And that's another great piece of equipment is the cable machine because it's so versatile than your just regular like chest press or pec fly.
Typical.
Yeah.
And did you obtain any certifications? Because the thing is, in fitness, there's so many different directions you could take. Like you could actually develop a niche for yourself.
Yeah.
So are you doing that right now, or have you already carved out a niche for yourself?
So my niche is more people who are looking to get into strength training because I don't have a preference on men or women. I actually like training both. Okay. It's just different styles to train them. I do hold several certifications, not just the typical personal training certification. Mine is not viewed as how nicely the other ones are viewed because mine is an open book test versus like NASM, where it's like 300 questions and like 50 of those questions you aren't actually graded on that test. Like they use it for next year's personal training test.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a waste.
It's like, and that test is like so hard. That's the hardest test to have. So I went and I was like, okay, I'm going to go and be a personal trainer. Let me just go and get the easiest one. And I don't think NASM defines you as a trainer because I have ESA and I think it's what you bring to the table as a personal trainer instead of like saying like, yeah, I have NASM. So it means that you're going to get clients. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get clients because I've seen a lot of trainers out there who are NASM certified and don't know how to train. Like I see that a lot in my industry. And so I hold like a strength and conditioning cert. I recently received a kettlebell concept certification. I'm going now for corrective exercise, which like puts you pretty high up there, because it just means that like certain people who have injuries or come from physical therapy, now you can really help them, especially after they get out of the physical therapy. So you're almost like a physical therapist in a way, but not quite. Like you're still not seen at that standard. The next one that I'm trying to get, which is really difficult, is nutritionist, mainly because science has never been my thing. And there's a lot of that when it comes to nutrition, especially nutrition for an individual that has, like, let's say a gluten allergy, or, you know, they can only eat certain things because they're allergic to all these different things that you can't now put in their nutrition guide for them.
And then with the nutrition, that could also eventually be an upsell for you.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You could sell people, oh, here's my meal plan.
Yeah.
I obtained this nutrition certification. So that's another, opportunity.
Every cert that you get past a personal trainer cert is an upsell.
Yeah.
Because it just makes you stand out. And it's like, oh, you're a personal trainer and that's all you have, like that, just that one cert. Like, no. Yes, I'm a personal trainer, but I can do all these other basic things with it. But like, oh, okay, now I'm getting the corrective exercise. That bumps you up to a higher level. If you get pre and postnatal, like not that many people have it. So that bumps you up to an even higher level. Like I plan on getting that one next month as well.
And then you mostly focus on one-on-one work. Are you eventually going to transition into boot camps and maybe possibly online fitness? Because I'm just thinking about time, right?
Yeah.
Time is always a factor, and how to maximize and be efficient. And I'm thinking with a boot camp now, you may get 20, 30 people in one room.
Yeah.
Right? So that could possibly be maybe a better business model than the one-on-one. Have you considered that, or even transitioning online?
My biggest thing right now is trying to develop into online. You know, basically I'm looking at like what I can do to build my online website before I launch it, because I want to make sure that if I do it, you know, I don't have to redo it like 6 times over and be like, yeah, this is the new model every single time. So I'm really looking at doing that. Boot camp has never really been my style. You know, I like the one-on-one training because you like really focus on somebody. If I was to do something, it would probably be like more small group training. So maybe like 3 to 10 people max, because at the end of the day, you're also a personal trainer and you want to make sure that, you know, anything you see that, you know, someone shouldn't be doing, you want to be able to, in a small setting, you know, be able to help them with that. So if like this person knows how to do the Romanian, but that person doesn't, I want to make sure that they still get some attention instead of having too many people in the room. Like, yeah, being able to run a boot camp would be really nice. But then at a certain point, I can't go around and help people with certain things, because that's the whole point of my training is you have an issue with something. And even if you're still like, you know, you've been athletically gifted, you came from being an athlete in high school to an athlete in college, like, you know, training in that weight room is a lot different than training now, especially because those were generally PE teachers and that's what they went to college for. And some knew what they were doing and others were just like, yeah, go bench press and hit this number for this many reps.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, you have a kid who's like maybe 120 pounds, like at 15, 16, like they're not going to know what they're doing. They're just going to like ego lift. And then they're just going to hurt themselves. And then they bring that into like when they go to a gym, when they're like 18 and they ask their mom, like, yeah, I want to go to this gym. Can you go sign me up so this way I can do it? And then they go in, they don't get the personal training assessment that's generally always free. They're just doing all these things. And then at a certain point, you know, it's going to lead to injury eventually.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think will be the ultimate goal for you in the fitness? Because you sound more like a tutor. Like you're very direct with the people. Like they really connect with you. So what would be like the goal for you? Where you feel like, where you think like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it. I made it. Like I'm doing it.
Like my dream goal is to eventually open up a private facility, not in New York because there are so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And like if I want to go somewhere, like I also don't want to live in the 4 seasons at a certain point anymore because I don't like the snow. I don't like the cold. You know, I have to always wear like 4 layers every single day when it's like cold. Like yesterday, I did not wear enough layers and I was so mad at myself. So I eventually want to go somewhere that, you know, has like dry heat. And because I also don't like humidity either. No, Florida has a lot of humidity. Yeah. People think it doesn't, but it does. It creeps up on you the same way like New York does.
So I can see you in Southern Cal.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere in Southern Cal.
Yeah. I think somewhere, in the like Southwest is where I'm really looking at. Just because I've lived in New York all my life. And I think at a certain point, New Yorkers who like a small percentage of New Yorkers, because I don't want to say it's everyone. You've lived in New York your whole life and you kind of just want to get away for a bit from it. And I mean, I have family here, so I'd come back every once in a while. But at a certain point, I really just want to leave and I want to build a business somewhere else that I know is going to be very helpful for everyone. But, you know, somewhere that I eventually feel like I don't have to commute like for an hour every day, you know, eventually drive somewhere and it be like, maybe the studio's like 20 minutes from my house because I'm the owner and I can obviously put it wherever I want when I can find that space.
You can actually park.
Yeah, like, and have a parking spot. So this way I don't have to worry about parking. And then every member who comes in can also have a parking spot if like it allows it. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal. The goal right now is really just to build an online business, still keep my in-person trainings, and just be able to have more time for myself. Because that's another thing that people...
Entrepreneurship takes a lot of time.
Oh, it does take up a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
And especially in this job, it takes so much time because, you know, there are some trainers who work 7 days a week. There are other trainers who are very lucky and only have to work 4 days a week. You know, I'm a trainer who has multiple jobs and I work 6 days a week. You know, I usually only have Sunday off, and Sunday is generally not even an off day because I have to confirm all my appointments for the week. And then I have to write client programs as well.
Still indirectly working, basically.
Basically. But that day I get to do it from the comfort of my home. So like I get to stay in bed all day. And I'm like literally just there with my laptop in front of me, like laying in bed the whole time.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, over here at Everything NYC podcast, we hopefully give you that push to get exactly where you need to be, because we're all trying to make it out here.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Is there anything you know now that you wish you would have known in the beginning?
Oh, there's so many things looking back at it now that I wish I knew. But probably, you know, it's really 2 things. I wish I had started earlier. You know, a lot of people know when they're 18 what they want to do. I did not know what I wanted to do because I just felt like I had to pick a direction in high school because they like were really just trying to force you into what you wanted to do. And I said, wait, hold up. I'll go to school for a little bit, but I don't know what I want to do. And then I kind of just went to college for a little bit, you know, kept changing my major because I just didn't know what I wanted. And then eventually I stopped going to college and I just went full-time into working in retail. And then I went from retail into the office job, and finally I found what I wanted to do almost 10 years later. So I wish I knew what I wanted to do 10 years ago instead of, you know, at the age I am now, and like feel like I'm so late to the game. Also wish I had started a little bit earlier because, like, you know, a lot of people were able to take off in the pandemic. You know, a lot of people were able to set up their online businesses then. And like, I'm really coming late to the party. So that's the other thing that I wish I had done like a few years prior, instead of being like post-pandemic, this is my career now.
Yeah, I mean, how old are you exactly? Because you look fresh out the box. Like, you look like completely young. So how old? The people do want to know this.
I'm 29.
Okay.
I'm about to be 30 in April.
We there, over the hill.
We're almost there.
That's light. Reality kicks in.
I'm not ready to leave my 20s yet, though.
I mean, you're about to leave right now.
I know, because like I feel like in the pandemic, like I was 27 and I honestly still mentally felt like I was 25. Like I still feel mentally 25 than my actual age. Yeah.
If you, I mean, you know, it's a lot going on out here. Like we said, like BBL, steroids.
Oh yeah.
People getting their elbows done now and stuff. I don't know what that's about. People getting abs, everything. Like,
the abs has been around for a while, though.
Yeah, like everything is just all over the place. If you could fix like one societal problem, what would it be?
It'd probably be to stop with the superficial plastic surgery. You know, that plays so much on us mentally. And when I say on us, I mean the person who gets it. Because, again, they have this huge disagreement with their body, which is usually what we call body dysmorphia. You know, we're always nitpicking the little things instead of, you know, when someone comes up to us and says, you look really great, and you go, no, I don't. Like, you do. You just haven't mentally accepted it yet. So you go, I have the money. I have the ability to do it. Let me go to the doctor and get the quick fix. But it doesn't fix you mentally. Like, I've heard from several clients who got it that they still don't feel mentally right. And I'm like, you're not going to. You change something superficially, you know, with the quick fix instead of working through it.
It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. And I mean, that's the other thing that gym culture is about. It's about your mentality as well. You know, it's taking what we normally come into and kind of having a bit of fragility and turning that into strength, you know, being able to be in the exercise fully, not just with our body, but with our consciousness too, you know, because we're always saying like mind muscle connection. You really have to connect with your muscle in order to get the most that you can out of that exercise, but so that you can feel mentally strong after it too. Whereas like someone comes up to you and be like, if you were a dude and be like, yeah, you're small. Like, dude, no, I'm not. I work hard. Like, what do you do to call me small? Like, I've had a lot of people come up to me and be like, you know, you don't look like you work out. Like, yeah, I know I don't look like I work out. It's because I like food. But when I take the pump cover off and you see these shoulders, that's a whole different thing. Or people have told me, like, when I'm working out, like, they've come up to me later, like, you work really hard. I'm like, I do it for my mental stability as well, because I need that little bit extra, because I come from, you know, being 190 pounds, being made fun of, you know, being the butt of everyone's joke, online bullying, that you have to gain that strength in some way. And the gym brought that to me, you know, because if I didn't have that, I have no idea where I would be at this point in my life.
That's good. You live and you learn, man. And you should be a public speaker, man. You're doing a real good job. Man. You're going to influence, I'm pretty sure here, everything NYC, everybody's watching, you're going to influence a lot of women out there to get in the gym, get in shape, get their lives together, and even some men.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I really believe you are. Very influential. You're inspiring me right now.
So how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah.
So they can get in touch with me. The Instagram that I have for personal training is Day One Athletics. It's day one spelled out .athletics. I do have like my personal page as well, but you know, everybody should contact me through that until I get the website up and running. And they can direct message me on that. And then we'll either have a video call or a phone call, depending on what they feel more comfortable with, especially if they don't want to yet meet one-on-one in person. Because, you know, that's a lot for people as well. So, you know, like, okay, I'm going to go have this conversation with her, and I just wasted like an hour and a half to get to her. And again, I'm located in Manhattan, and, you know, that's primarily where I do all my training sessions, basically from the Upper West Side all the way to downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard to miss if you know you got the colorful hair and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like that.
I'm always running up and down the subway station. Like, I'm sure everyone sees me all the time.
Man, I hope you become the next Jillian Michaels or even better. Man. I really hope the best for you. I really do.
Thank you.
All right. So look, right now we're, you know, early in the year where people have their resolutions. So this is good, right? People are starting to think about summer. How do I get that fit body for the summer? So this has been a good conversation. And just as a recap, you know, you started off in a commercial gym. You were able to get your leads, get to the point of converting those leads, having conversations, developing relationships, and then you were able to take those clients and they're able to become your clients, right? So I think that's the important thing there. And what you've mentioned is that you have a passion for it, you love it, you would do it even if you weren't getting paid for it, and you wish that you would have found this passion of yours earlier on in your life. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us today on Everything NYC podcast. Stay tuned. We have a lot of great content coming your way. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that's it.
Thank you for watching.